Hello to everyone. It's a great honor for us to participate in 37 International Business Information Management Association conference. Anna WASILUK and me, Andrzej, DANILUK, we represent Białystok University of Technology, Faculty of Engineering Management in Poland. The topic of our presentation is Turkish organizations to perspective of Polish companies. We would like to share our research results relating to the idea of Turquoise organization. As introduction, we can say that the reference to the Turquoise organization was based, among others, on the theory of the spiral development of societies. Its foundations are based on the theory of levels of human development formulated by C.W. Grace in the 1970s. The theory was developed and spread by D. Beck and C.H.C. Cohen, who coined the term spiral dynamics and introduced a color marking system. It does not claim humans are heading the one ultimate destination, but rather flow through the spiral stages of development that depend on changing biological, social, environmental, and psychological factors. The idea of Turquoise organizations is not entirely new. Many of its elements appeared in the second half of the 20th century, especially in the works of Edward Deming and Peter Drucker. Friedrich Laloux combined the theory of psychology with management. He put together new and older management techniques depending on their impact on people and organizational culture. In the development chain, Friedrich Laloux considered Turquoise organization to be the most developed and effective form of human cooperation at present. Friedrich Laloux distinguished 5 models of organization and management styles specific to them, giving each a symbolic color and setting them from the most authoritarian to the most democratic. These are red, amber, orange, green, and turquoise organization. When organizations entering a higher stage of transformation, they don't lose their previous behaviors, but gain new ones, adopted to certain specific contexts. Friedrich Laloux, analyzing various types of economic entities, noticed 3 emerging pillars of modern organizations. The first one is self-management, which means the ability of team members to self-manage, take responsibility, and adapt flexibly to current challenges. Efficiency depends on interpersonal relationships, arising all resistance and habits related to the traditional hierarchy. Each team member feels responsible for the organization. Wholeness, the feeling that you can be yourself at work without pretending and separating your professional and private life. The team realizes that everyone is deeply connected to each other as part of a larger whole. And the third one is evolutionary purpose. The action takes place from the perspective of a living and changing organism that has a life purpose, and team members help to achieve it. The purpose determines the sense of the existence of the organization and what it serves. Other authors pay attention to management hierarchy, also hierarchical relationships and organizational structures as a very important elements of building Turquoise organizations. The limitations of the management hierarchy have long been recognized by both scholars and practitioners, leading to various efforts to organize companies in a less hierarchical manner. The structural solutions of Turquoise organizations are not devoid of hierarchical relationships, although they are not strong ones. An important distinguishing feature of these organizational structures is the considerable organization and formalization of activities, which proves that they are somehow bureaucratic. Looking at the analysis and the results of our research, we can find some barriers to creation and development of Turkish organizations in Poland. Turkish companies in Poland are still amid. Domestic organizations are still deeply embedded in the paradigm of dictatorship and hierarchy. This view is confirmed by the results presented in the publications which show that Polish organizations operate on the basis of values in line with the traditional workplace model based on values that don't harmonize with the idea of Turquoise. In the sector of small and medium-sized enterprises, an autocratic style of management still dominates. The full freedom of employees and the lack of hierarchy raise great doubts among employees who look at this model with suspicion, wondering whether it makes sense to introduce it in the organization. This is a serious obstacle to the spread of Turkey's job. Also, the mentality of Polish managers is a big problem. Many of them seem to be important only because they call themselves managers and have power. They display with satisfaction the signs of prestige assigned to their position, including a separate office, better computer, a company car with fuel card, etc. Socio-cultural barriers can also be a big problem in Poland. In Turkey's organization, trust plays a fundamental role. Research conducted by various researchers indicates that Poles belong to a very distrustful society. Only slightly more than one-fifth of respondents assume that most people can be trusted, while more than three-fourths adhere to the principle of extreme caution and suspicion when dealing with others. A significant barrier to the adoption of the Turquoise model in Polish organizations is the education system in Poland. Most Polish schools do not respond to the needs of the future labor market, including the model of Turquoise organization. They don't support the students' individuality, creativity, self-awareness, or expressing their own views. Both the awareness of emotions and the ability to communicate and deal with them are not common in Polish society. The inability to talk about emotions is one of the main barriers to changing the organizational culture for the Turkish organizational model. There are few companies trying to implement Turquoise, for example, clothing company LPP, industrial company IGUS. However, the question remains whether the model of Turquoise organizations has a chance to be widely used in the Polish economic reality, or whether it will remain a field of theoretical considerations and the few companies taking steps to implement Turquoise solutions will be marginalized. Summarizing the considerations, it should be stated that, unfortunately, nowadays the vast majority of Polish companies are not ready to adopt the Turquoise management model. The barriers lie both on the side of employees and employers. Social changes in Polish society entering the labor market of I generation and in future alpha generation employees may entail wide-ranging changes also in the management systems of Polish organizations. Some of the empirical studies already confirm the increase in pro-governance attitudes among young people and among the better educated part of employees. Research shows that a special potential lies in newly created enterprises such as spin-off and spin-out organizations and in innovative startups with integrated peer groups. The Turquoise revolution in Polish enterprises may develop with a strong stimulus from business support organizations as well as expert and scientific communities. In conclusion, we can say that starting from the observation that if a good life is a fundamental value for a modern man, it should be taken care of in the first place, starting with remodeling the way in which work is performed. It should be organized so that it gives a sense of meaning of life, pride in what you do and who you are, allows for development and offer space for creativity and innovation. Turkish management is a revolutionary goal, but the pace of its introduction must be evolutionary. Turkish organizations destroy the current model of the world and reverse the order of things. It's not a theoretical model or a utopian version, but a very specific way of managing organizations from a higher level of consciousness. We can also notice that the good life in the social area should also be taken care of partnership instead of competition, cooperation and mutual support instead of competition, building good relationships between each other based on trust. Is the Turquoise management concept really the highest degree of organization evolution? Does it have a chance to be more widely accepted? Will the barriers to the development of this organization be eliminated due to the entry of I-generation employees into the market? Discussing this question, you can find in our full paper. Answering them can be the starting point for further research into the concept of turquoise organizations. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please contact us by email.